The atmosphere in the corporate office was cold and sterile, almost like a place where feelings didn't matter. The sharp click of Alicia's heels echoed on the polished marble floor as she walked with determination. She was a single mother, and the weight of the world seemed to sit heavy on her shoulders. Her heart raced as she approached the CEO's office. She knew why she was called in. It wasn't for a promotion. It was for something far worse. The door to the office was slightly open. She pushed it, her breath catching in her throat as she entered. There he was, Edward Hayes, the CEO of Hayes Enterprises, sitting behind his massive desk. His eyes were as cold as the room around them. "Come in, Alicia," he said, his voice sharp and impersonal. "I won't keep you long." Alicia's heart sank as she heard Edward's words. She'd been preparing herself for this moment, but hearing it out loud made it all too real. She had worked so hard for this company, often staying late to make sure her work was perfect. But Edward Hayes wasn't interested in effort or dedication. To him, it was all about results. And lately, her personal struggles had been affecting her performance. "Alicia, I'm sure you know why you're here," Edward said, tapping his fingers on the desk impatiently. "Your performance isn't meeting expectations. We need people who can handle the pressure, no excuses." She clenched her fists, trying to stay calm. "I've been dealing with personal issues," Alicia said, hoping he would understand. But Edward cut her off. "Your best isn't good enough," he said coldly. "I'm sorry, but we have to let you go." Alicia's head was spinning as she left the office. The weight of the news hit her harder than she expected. She had given everything to this company, yet it wasn't enough. As she walked out the door, her mind raced. How was she going to provide for her son now? Over the next few months, Alicia sent out countless job applications, hoping for a break. But the rejections kept piling up. It felt like the world was closing in on her. Her savings were quickly disappearing, and the pressure was getting unbearable. One evening, as she sat hunched over her laptop, trying to find another job, something caught her eye. An email popped up, its subject line reading, "Opportunity of a Lifetime." She hesitated but clicked it. The message came from an unknown sender, offering her a job at a rival company. It was too good to pass up. Alicia couldn't believe it. She had actually been offered a job at a rival company. The offer seemed almost too good to be true, but with no other options left, she accepted it. She had to make this work, not just for herself, but for her son. Her first day at the new company was a whirlwind. She was introduced to her new team, a group of talented, motivated people who were excited to have her on board. Alicia was ready to prove herself again, but as the days went on, something felt off. Strange things kept happening. Files would disappear, only to show up later, and emails were being sent from her account that she didn't write. It was like someone was playing tricks on her, trying to make her look bad. But Alicia wasn't about to back down. She had been through too much to let this slide. One night, Alicia stayed late at the office, determined to catch up on the work she had missed. While browsing through her files, she stumbled upon a hidden folder on her computer. Curiosity got the best of her, and she opened it. Inside were confidential documents about the company, including sensitive information about their main competitor, Hartley Enterprises. Alicia's heart raced as she skimmed through the files. It was clear someone in her company was involved in a shady plan to sabotage Hartley Enterprises, but who? And why? As Alicia pieced things together, she realized the sabotage wasn't just random. It was being carefully planned, and somehow she was caught in the middle of it. The more she dug, the deeper the mystery became. Alicia knew she couldn't ignore it. She had to uncover the truth before it was too late. Alicia's investigation led her down a dangerous path. One evening, after everyone else had left, she saw a light on in the CEO's office. Her curiosity pushed her forward, and she crept closer. When she peeked inside, she couldn't believe what she saw. Richard Hartley, the CEO of her old company, sitting at the desk in the rival company's office. Alicia's heart skipped a beat. What was he doing there? Richard was typing rapidly, his eyes glued to the screen. He didn't notice her at first, but when he did, he froze, and his cold, piercing gaze met hers. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice calm, though his eyes betrayed his surprise. Alicia stepped inside, refusing to back down. "I should be asking you that," she replied, her voice steady but full of questions. Richard leaned back in his chair, his smug smile growing. "I see you've been doing some digging," he said, his voice almost taunting. "I didn't expect you to figure it out so soon." Alicia's mind raced as she tried to process what was happening. Richard was behind the sabotage? But why? "I'm not trying to destroy the company, Alicia," he said with a cold laugh. "I'm trying to save it. Hartley Enterprises is on the verge of collapsing, and sometimes sacrifices have to be made." Alicia felt a chill run down her spine. This wasn't just a business move, it was manipulation. He'd been using everyone around him, including her, to get what he wanted. "I won't let you do this," Alicia said firmly, staring him down. "You won't destroy everything I've worked for." Richard's smile faded as he realized she wasn't backing down. This wasn't over. Alicia knew it was time to take action. Over the next few days, she gathered everything she could: documents, emails, and recordings of her meetings with Richard. She had enough evidence to expose his plan. But she had to act fast. One evening, as she was about to leave the office, she felt a presence behind her. Turning, she saw Richard standing in the shadows, his face dark with anger. "We need to talk," he said, his voice low and cold. Alicia didn't flinch. "I've got nothing to say to you," she said firmly. Richard took a step closer, his eyes narrowing. "I can't let you ruin everything I've worked for," he warned. But Alicia stood her ground. "You can't stop me. I won't let you destroy everything I've worked for. This ends now." Richard's anger flared, but Alicia knew this battle wasn't over yet. She wasn't backing down. Alicia knew she had everything she needed to take Richard down. With all her evidence ready, she reached out to her new colleagues for help. They stood by her, and together they presented the shocking truth to the board of directors. Richard's plan to destroy his own company was exposed. Richard was quickly removed from his position as CEO. The board members were furious with him. But in a surprising twist, they offered Alicia the CEO position instead. The same company that had tried to push her out was now offering her the chance to lead IT. As Alicia walked into her new office, she couldn't believe how far she had come. She had gone from being fired to becoming the new CEO. She had proven Richard wrong, and she had done it on her terms. She felt a sense of pride, but knew the real challenge was just beginning. Alicia was settling into her new role as CEO, but she wasn't about to forget how she had gotten there. She remembered the long hours, the doubts, and the sacrifices she had made. She had worked so hard to get here, and now it was time to make a difference. She wasn't just going to run this company the same way Richard had. Alicia was determined to create a place where everyone felt included and valued. She didn't want anyone to go through what she had. Alicia worked on making sure that every employee felt supported and heard, no matter their role. One evening, as she was heading home, she spotted Richard standing in the shadows outside the building. Alicia's heart raced, but she didn't let it show. She walked past him, confident and strong, knowing she had done what many said was impossible. Alicia had turned her life around, and she wasn't going to stop now. Alicia walked into her office the next morning with a new sense of purpose. She looked out the window, watching the city buzz below her. It was hard to believe that just a few months ago, she had been dismissed, pushed aside, and doubted by Richard. But here she was now, running the company. She sat at her desk, reflecting on everything she'd been through. The long nights of feeling uncertain, the times she had to fight for herself, and how every rejection had pushed her to work even harder. Alicia had faced so many challenges, but with each one, she had come out stronger. As the day went on, she saw how much her leadership was starting to change things. People were starting to believe in her, and most importantly, she was believing in herself. Alicia wasn't just surviving anymore, she was thriving. And this was only the beginning.